Hello and welcome to this video on UK relocation with a focus on London. Housing in the UK is a lot smaller and more expensive than in many other Western countries. And assignees can be quite disappointed if they've not been told before they start the home search process. Because of this, shipping furniture over should be considered carefully as it may not always fit. In terms of cost, the average UK rental rate is currently around £900 a month. And rents across the UK continue to be pushed up by the number of prospective tenants entering the market. There is a growing price gap between London and the rest of the UK. In fact, in 2016, rental values in the capital finished the year nearly 70% above the rest of the UK average. Although rents do appear to be slowing in the last 12 months, they remain very expensive by world standards, and this is primarily due to the number of people looking for rental accommodation. A one-bedroom apartment in Greater London can cost around £1,100 per month and up to £5,000 per month in prime central London, whilst a three-bedroom house can be around £1,300 in Greater London and up to £7,500 in central London. Often assignees will have to commute to work, and the length of that commute depends on which bus route or tube line you live nearest to. So before signing a lease, it's recommended that assignees check how close to properties they are in terms of the transport links. Because the London rental market is so fast moving, properties in popular areas can be taken quickly. To meet this challenge, assignees will need to remain as flexible as possible with their search criteria. The relevant documentation to hand, act quickly once they find a property. Of course, Brexit continues to be a factor in UK relocation. As no country has withdrawn from the EU before, it's quite hard to predict what impact the process will have. And whilst Brexit has the potential to impact global mobility programmes, it is likely that the how and the when will remain unclear for some time to come. But we will of course keep you up to date as details emerge. Driving can be a convenient way to travel around the UK, as long as you remember that we drive on the left-hand side of the road here, giving way to vehicles on our right. But in London, with fast, reliable public transport, driving isn't really necessary. In fact, with heavy traffic congestion, it's normally quicker to use public transport. And often London properties won't include a garage or off-road parking anyway. For those who do choose to drive around London, be aware that there is a congestion charge zone in operation. The zone includes areas of St Pancras, Westminster, Waterloo, Barbican and Finsbury, and it costs £11.50 per day. Those living in the zone will receive a discount when registering annually. London has one of the largest urban transport networks in the world, and the city's underground rail network, known as the Tube, is normally the quickest and easiest way to travel. Now generally the Tube runs from 5 AM to midnight on Monday to Thursday, and there's a night Tube service on a Friday and Saturday, covering the Victoria, Jubilee, most of the Central Line, most of the Northern and Piccadilly, with reduced opening hours on a Sunday. There's also an extensive bus network, overground trains and river bus service, but do bear in mind that during peak hours public transport can be crowded, so allow plenty of time for journeys. Public transport across the UK is generally reliable. A national train network connects nearly all towns and cities, while bus services operate within most areas. And cities like Birmingham, Manchester, Newcastle and Edinburgh also have a tram network. Assignees have the choice of state or private education for their children, and there are also a number of international schools, with most located in London and the home counties areas. Children begin school at the age of 5, with the academic year running from September through to July. The admissions process varies, but information can be found on each school website. The majority of state schools provide places based on catchment areas, so assignees should first choose the school that they wish to send their child to, and then find a suitable property within the relevant catchment area. Although if the school is full, living in the area does not guarantee a school place. It's also a good idea to shortlist 2 or 3 schools in case the first choice school has no available places. For those moving to the UK with younger children, nursery care is broadly broken into 2 categories. You have preschool, usually for toddlers and children up to 5 years, and then daycare is available for young children and babies through to school age. Even if you are a native English speaker, you'll find a lot of cultural differences here. The British are masters of understatement, and you may have to read between the lines when having a business discussion. To build trust with your British colleagues, be open, honest and sincere. Brits are also considered to be very polite and formal. Manners are important, with please and thank you used frequently at the workplace. But at the same time, a good sense of humour is a must, so don't underestimate its importance in the business environment. So my top tips for living in the UK are, when finding a home in London, act quickly. The London rental market is very fast moving, so you'll need to be prepared to move fast once you find a property that you like. And be prepared for high cost of living. Compared to other Western countries, the cost of living in the UK, especially in London, is high, with food and entertainment particularly expensive. Do keep an eye on the time. When attending business meetings, punctuality is key. For external appointments in London, set off early to avoid being late. Assignees relocating to the UK especially like the rich cultural heritage we have. The beautiful English countryside offers great walks with lots of historical country houses, palaces and castles to explore. Visiting a traditional Great British pub, some are historic, some are themed, but they're all unique and you can find them in villages, towns and cities across the country. London's multiculturalism. Be sure to sample the capital's different cuisines, festivals, art exhibitions and other world events. It's one of the most culturally diverse cities in the world, so embrace it.